female-led superhero films have not had a good run. I mean, we've had good female superheroes in films, but if you take a look back at all the solo stuff, then it's pretty depressing to see that we've gotten the likes of Catwoman, Elektra, Supergirl, Tank Girl, Barbed Wire. Is Tank Girl the best of those? Is that where we're at? So really, Wonder Woman has quite a bit riding on it in that respect. But then you've got the added pressure of DC really needing a win. Cinematically, at least. Reviews of their previous movies have been mixed, which is, that's quite generous. And I know a lot of people say that Wonder Woman's appearance in Batman v Superman was one of the best parts of that film, but I tend to disagree. She wasn't terrible by any stretch, and she certainly looked the part in that action sequence. But when you think about it, that weird bit where Batman's in the desert in a dream and he kills all those guys, that's the best bit. Regardless, nothing about her role in BVS raised my anticipation for this film. So on the back of a fondly remembered television series that probably isn't very good by today's standards, some solid animated appearances, 0 video games, and a number of cancelled TV and movie projects, here we are, Wonder Woman 2017, as directed by Patty Jenkins. And it's good, though I do think if you're going into this movie expecting it to be some kind of comic book movie game changer, then really you're setting yourself up for disappointment. But that's not to take away from this being a really solid adaptation of the character. The story is as follows. The year is World War I, the war to end all wars, which was a little ambitious as a title in hindsight. Steve Trevor, hero, man, finds himself stranded on Themyscira, an ancient civilization inhabited by a race of Amazonian women, trained from birth in all manner of combat. You know, stuff like jumping real high and firing 3 arrows. Princess Diana then decides, with the aid of Steve Trevor, to embark on an epic quest to stop the Central Powers of Germany and Austria-Hungary as they rampage across Europe. Because maybe this war has more of a supernatural element to it than initially thought. Or maybe it doesn't. Who's to say? And thus we have a whole lot of Wonder Womaning. As far as the action sequences go, it's a weird blend. When you see Wonder Woman darting around a room, kicking the shit out of soldiers, it's quite good. It's pretty convincing. The hits feel real, wood shatters, kicks look like they hurt, and the choreography on the whole holds up well. There are, though, a handful of really jarring moments when the backdrop might be all fire and lightning and smoke or whatever, and it's very evident that those moments were filmed on a soundstage in front of a green screen. It's not a massive deal, but it definitely breaks the immersion a few times. Gal Gadot physically makes a great Wonder Woman. She looks and feels strong, and for the most part, she sells the dialogue. There are a few of her lines that don't quite land, but on the whole, she turns in a charismatic performance, and she strikes a good balance between naivety and independent as she's coming to terms with her new surroundings, even though at times her naivety teeters on stupidity. The rest of the cast are good also. Chris Pine does a stellar job at being Chris Pine. It's always great seeing Lucy Davis, here with her playing Etta Candy, and the knockoff Howling Commandos each brings something unique. They're all likable and funny, with it worth being noted that this movie manages to do a good job of both demonstrating the horrors of war and interjecting the whole thing with humor and heart. But I bring up the Howling Commandos comparison because a criticism can be made that this movie bears a lot of similarities to Captain America: The First Avenger. Now, I know it's a different war and all, but even removing the war setting aspect, there's plenty of other very obvious parallels that I can't get into here due to spoilers, but I will next Monday on my podcast, The Weekly Planet. Come along for that, why don't you? But not right now. There's more reviewing to do here. The finale's also a bit pedestrian. You know, Blue Lightning and speeches about, "If you don't join me, I'll destroy you." You know, all that. And there's also some real unclear reasoning as to why her people wouldn't tell Wonder Woman more about her backstory. Because when certain details about her are revealed, it's definitely a case of, you know, that information would have been incredibly handy to know. Also, the movie does that thing where German people speak English even when they're alone and also around other German people. I think the reason here is, though, this isn't like a Logan where there's horrific violence, or even a Guardians 2 with its robot prostitutes. This movie is intended for a wider audience, and subtitles might not play well to a younger crowd. I'd love to be able to say this is a real game-changing superhero film, and from the perspective of it's a good female-led comic book movie, then yeah, it absolutely is. But at the end of the day, it's a good but not great superhero film, and I am interested to see the character of Wonder Woman bouncing off the other Justice League members later in the year. One more thing, this movie also had me thinking about growing up with the Chris Reeves Superman movies, and even though those are fairly naff by today's standards, it was good having the influence of a character like that in my life. And I really think that this version of Wonder Woman can be that positive influence for girls growing up now. And that's great. So there we have it. A pretty good step forward in both female-led superhero movies as well as the DC EU. But what did you think of Wonder Woman? And do you have any other female superheroes in mind that you'd like to see make it on the big screen? A She-Hulk? A Spider-Woman? A Squirrel Girl? Leave any thoughts you have below, because if you do, you can win a loot crate, like this person from last week. If you are this person, just private message me these details, and it's all yours. Also, coming this Thursday is our latest episode of Caravan of Garbage. That's a series where we play a video game that's not very good, or sometimes it is really good. This one's going to focus on something Wonder Woman related. So if you want, subscribe for that, and also my upcoming Wonder Woman Easter egg video this Sunday, and also every Monday you can find me on my podcast, The Weekly Planet. All that is linked below if you're interested. But thanks for watching this. I appreciate it. Take care.